In this video, I'm going to tell you 10 things that I never do as a cake decorator. Hi, it's Karolyn. If you want to learn how to bake and decorate amazing cakes, then I would love for you to join me by hitting subscribe and the bell. Before we get started in this video, I just need to thank you guys so much. The feedback that I've been getting from you and the messages and the comments. The other day, I got one that made me cry, just you letting me know how much I'm helping you. And it's funny because I'm here in my kitchen and I talk to my phone and it's just so nice that I'm able to reach out across time and space, if you will, and be able to help you guys. And I'm just so grateful for you, and you encourage me to keep going. And I just want to make a little note that YouTube just released something. It's called Super Thanks. And it is a way that you can donate a little bit of money to your favorite creators. And I need to thank Emily. Thank you so much. She was my first person to send a donation. I just signed up for it. And what you can do underneath the video where it says like, share and all that, you can scroll a little bit to the side if you're on your phone. And there's a little heart that says thanks underneath it. And if you want to, you can donate. I don't want to ask for money, but it's greatly appreciated. These videos take a lot of time to make. And I just appreciate you guys so much for everything you've done for me. And I just want to put that out there before I start. So I was thinking about things that I never do in my cake business, and I was able to come up with a nice even number of 10. All right, number 1. I never put out there that I am completely booked. And I get it. When you get very busy, you want to tell people that you are booked until a certain date so they stop emailing you, because you have to take time and email everybody back and let them know that you can't do the cake. However, the reason that I don't do this is because I feel like once you start telling people openly that you are booked, they start to think, well, I'm not going to contact her or him because they're just booked. You know, even if you have openings. Like right now, I am completely booked until June 16th, and I keep getting requests for June 4th, June 12th, you know, like whatever it is, and I have to separately send emails to people and just let them know that I'm booked until the 16th. And then I have 0 cakes the week of the 16th. It's so weird how this business goes. But anyway, yeah, I just feel like if you put it out there and you put in big letters, I am booked until August, while that may get some people light a fire under them to send deposits for future cakes, I just don't like the message that it puts out. Personally, I don't like that message, that just saying that you're too busy to be able to work with them. So I avoid doing that. Number 2, I will never make a cake without having it be paid in full completely. And this is because it has happened to me quite a few times in the past. I've mentioned in other videos where I used to just accept cash and people would pay me the balance when they came and picked it up, and I made some cakes that people didn't get. And it only has to happen to you once or twice. And if it happens to you twice, then you really want to smack yourself over the head, and you'll never let that happen again. So I have a policy that says all cakes must be paid in full completely 10 days prior to pickup, because that's when I start doing my shopping. That's when I start getting things in motion for the cakes for the following weekend. So it's 10 days prior. So the cake must be paid in full. The flavors must be chosen. The size can't be changed. Everything has to be set in stone 10 days prior. So never make a cake without having it be paid for first. Number 3, and this is about baking my cakes. I never bake a cake without having a flour nail. One of these little nail heating cores in the center. I get these are little Atico nails, and I can find these and link these below. However, I like to have something heating the cake from the center so the cake rises evenly and bakes evenly. Now you can also wrap the outside of the cake with, I use a wet towel, but I only do that with cakes that are like 10 inches and above. I just feel like the smaller cakes don't need it. But yes, I always, if it's 4 inches, if it's 12 inches, whatever, I always use heating cores, and it helps my cakes bake a lot evenly. You know what I'm saying? It just my cakes just bake so much more even when I have that heating core in the middle. Number 4, I never fill or frost a cake that is frozen. I just don't like the idea of the cake thawing and condensation forming as it's already iced, and then water droplets forming underneath the icing and messing up the cake. I know it may not always happen, but why take the chance? Like my boyfriend would say, because he has the British accent. I don't want to take the chance. I just want to make sure that my cakes are thawed at room temperature. Now, I know some people like to carve cakes when they're frozen, and I guess in that instance, you would also ice them or fill them while they are frozen, but I don't like taking that risk. So I just choose to, I freeze all my cake layers after I bake them, and then I thaw them completely before I fill and frost them. And I just put out a video not too long ago, and I'll put it up there or down there or both, talking about how I freeze and I thaw my cakes. Number 5, I will never frost the outside of a cake with icing that has cream cheese in it. And I have delicious cream cheese icing recipes. I will link them in the description below. It is so delicious, but I only use it as a filling. And also my chocolate filling recipe has cream cheese in it. I will not put that on the outside of the cake. Why don't you do that? Well, icing with cream cheese, in my personal experience, does not hold up very well. It does not smooth as good. There's little air pockets or whatnot. It ends up sticking to the bench scraper, and also it doesn't hold its shape. It can melt. I actually work with, my friend owns a restaurant and he caters weddings, and one time the bride and groom chose their cake decorator, and the cake decorator iced the cake in cream cheese icing. The venue was very hot. The cream cheese melted off at the side of the cake, and they blamed the catering company for it and said they didn't take care of the cake, when really it's like, you shouldn't ice the cake in that cream cheese icing. Now, can you do it? Yes. In some instances, I guess it wouldn't be an issue, but with a decorated cake where you have to smooth the outside, where it has to withstand the heat, I just don't want to do that. So my cream cheese icing is used as a filling only. Número 6. I'm trying to do a little more Espanol. I never let anybody pick up a cake, or I will never deliver a cake without sending them a picture of it the morning of or the night before. And this is why. Because we're human and we make mistakes. I've spelled names wrong, I've done the wrong decorations, I've had the wrong color, and this way it gives you some time to fix any mistakes that you may have made. My friend actually told me she has another friend who makes cakes, and the other day she delivered a cake and wasn't able to fit something on there, and the customer found out when she delivered the cake that it wasn't on the cake. And I just recommend that in that instance, if you're decorating a cake and you find that something isn't going right, be completely honest with your customer. Say, hey, I thought I'd be able to do this, but it's not turning out the right way. I can either, give them options. I can do it this way, or we can just omit it completely and maybe give them like a little refund or whatever it would be. But sending a picture of the completed cake and having them approve of it avoids any of those issues that you may have after they pick it up. And number 7, this is also about pictures. I will never post a picture of a cake before a party. I will wait until the day after a party, because a lot of times people want the cakes to be a surprise, or they just don't want people seeing the cake before the party, and you may have people who are going to the party who follow you, who will see the cake or whatever. So it's just so much better to wait until the day after the party, or at least that evening after the party is over, to post the pictures of the cakes. Number 8, I will never post a picture of a cake that I use someone else's design as inspiration without giving them credit. It's just proper cake decorating etiquette to credit the original designer when you take someone else's design. Now, there are instances where there is a cake that's been done a billion times, and I just did one recently, and I'll put it over here. It's a totally adorable, wait, I said totally adorable. It's totes adorbs. It's an adorable cake. However, it's been done so many times. Who was the original person? Like, that's really difficult to find. So you can credit the picture that you were given, although you don't know if that was the original person. But just putting a note in the description saying this is not my original design, or this was inspired by a cake by whoever, and tag them in it. It's just the right thing to do, and people have done it for me, and I actually love when people tag me in pictures of cakes that they recreated of my designs. It's just so cool to see. So yeah, I would never take complete credit for a design that I did that was inspired by someone else. Number 9, I will never talk bad about another cake decorator or someone else's cake designs. And that's just common courtesy, right? And this is the thing, we are all on our own cake decorating journey. And beginners are very different than people who are very advanced and have been doing this for years and years. And I don't think that anybody deserves the negativity. Even there was someone who, I did a video on this. So someone requested one of my cake designs. What they requested and what they got was very different. It was a Pinterest fail. And it was very unfortunate, but I would not go around just saying like, that's horrible and putting people down, because if you decorate cakes, you know that it is challenging. You think that you can do something and it ends up being more difficult than it is. And you just want to learn from your experiences without having people knock you down and telling you how horrible you are. And same thing goes with cake decorators. Like, I have made friends with so many of my cake decorators in the area. We actually bounce ideas off each other. We're in a small Facebook group that we ask each other questions. How do you do this design? Does anyone know where to get this? And it's just nice to create a community with your cake decorating friends rather than enemies. And here, I go back to, I've said this in other videos, you can't make all the cakes. There's a billion parties going on. There's a billion weddings, graduations, everything. You are one person or one company. You can't make all the cakes. There's enough cakes and parties to spread around and let everybody else make them. So don't talk bad about other people's designs, other people in general. It's just good cake decorating etiquette. And number 10, very important, is to not dwell on the negative. And this may take a little bit of practice. However, things don't always go right, and we know that. I had an instance where I gave a cake to a lady, the cake fell apart. I took some responsibility for it. I had to refund the cake. It was a lot. I'll put it over here, and I did a video on it. And I get it. When things like this happen, you get in your head. So in instances where cakes might fall apart, where people aren't happy with the design, where people are unhappy with you, it's easy to go down this rabbit hole of, I suck, I can't believe I messed up, I can't believe they did this, why are they so mad? When situations like this happen, allow yourself to feel the feelings, process it, and then move on. You give yourself a couple hours up until, the rest of the day, and then the next day, move on from it. You have to let it go to be able to move on, right? If you keep holding on to the negativity and focusing on the bad things that happen, it's gonna hold you back. Instead, refocus to the people like you guys who are so kind and wonderful, to the people who appreciate you. And it totally changes your vibration and changes your energy and won't keep you stuck. So those are my 10 tips, the 10 things that I never do in cake decorating. And I want to know, what do you guys never do? There's got to be other things, and I'm sure that I missed a bunch, but let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. So I think that's it. If you guys have any other questions or comments, you can leave them below. And you can follow me on socials, and I have my website, and it's all listed in the description below as well. If you want to stick around, you can watch these 2 videos next, and hit subscribe and the bell if you haven't already. Please like this video if you liked it. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, it's cake. Have fun. I will see you on the next one. Bye.